Dear God, thank you for today. Thank you for being a wonderful Heavenly Father. Thank you for your love, your grace, and always your mercy. Because we don't always deserve it, but you love us anyway. You've forgiven us for so many things. Lord, we come today hoping that we can share light in the world of what you're capable of doing when it comes to love and relationships. But also let people know that we're real. That we're real people, that we're humans, and we go through things. And Lord, may they be inspired, may they be blessed, may they be encouraged, may they be happy, may they find joy, may they find learning, may they find wisdom. And again, we just thank you for being wonderful and gracious. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right. Welcome to There's an I in Marriage with Nick and Kayla. How are you wonderful people doing? I hope you're having a blessed week, blessed day, blessed life. Yeah. We definitely have another guest.
Yeah.
And we're thankful to have him. Before we get started, I just wanted to share a dream I had. I had it a couple nights ago. And there was like 4 parts to the dream, but I'm going to spend time talking about 2 of them. Mainly because it was a lot of growth and healing, and then there's a lot of urgency in the second part. And so the first part was I was sitting in a classroom on campus. I went to college at IUI, and so it just felt like I was in the classroom. But there was me, and then there was the younger me. It was me with the mohawk. Some of y'all remember that, who's known me. But I was sitting in one chair, and then the other me, the younger me, was sitting in another one. He hadn't seen me yet, but then he finally looked over and he's like, "Oh, that's me." I was like, "Yeah, hey, how you doing?" And like we had a little short conversation. He's asking me how his life going and everything. He saw that I had a ring on. He said, "Oh, you're married? Wow! Like, who did you marry?" And then she happened to be behind me, sitting in the chair, and I was like, "Yeah, there she is." It's like, "Oh, what? She's pretty? What? Wow!" And it was just such a moment of where like I was like the younger me was excited and happy, and it seemed like he had so many questions like how did we get here and all that stuff, but it was like short lived, and then it went to another part of the dream, and then after that part of the dream, and this is kind of interesting, weird, but just rock with it. We were doing an interview with Yo Gotti.
That's such a random person.
Like, out of all people, it was me, Kayla, and then there was another person. And it was like a radio interview. So nobody could really see, like, camera-wise, but, like, our voices and everything. And you know how you do on a hip-hop radio interview, they might have you do something kind of fun to try to engage the audience at first. So he tells the other person that's with us, like, "Hey, why don't you rap along to this song, and like we're gonna stop the lyrics and you're just gonna have to keep going," or something like that. And the other person was like, "Okay," and got into the song, and he was just fumbling it. He was just fumbling it, and that started to get me a little upset because like in this setting, like we really want to do like serious interviews, like we want to show up, we want to be presentable and stuff like that, and you're just kind of fumbling it. So I jumped in and tried to hop on the lyrics myself, and like nobody really knows with my voice, the difference of voice or whatever. So it's like I was just trying to wing it. And then like Yo Gotti started asking more questions about us and this and that, and then it seemed like we was not looking good as a unit. And so I got more frustrated, and nobody was talking, and so it looked like we just went straight to commercial. And then after that, people started coming in and wanted to do autographs. Of course, Yo Gotti, he's doing autographs. He's a celebrity or whatever. And we were trying to have people get our book, and we would sign them and stuff like that. So the second person that came in was an Asian lady. I don't know why she was Asian. But whoever she is in real life, God bless her. But she came in and like she got the autograph from Yo Gotti, but then when she came by me, it's like, "Hey, you should listen, read this book. It's going to be really good, and we'll sign it for you. Like, why should? She was like, why should I read your book? Why do I care? Why should I care? And I was like, well, this is really good on relationships and marriage and so on and so forth. It's like, but you're not even married that long. Like, you're young. I don't want to listen to you. And then if Daniel, who just did the last interview, is listening, I'm pretty sure
he confirmed. They confirmed what he told him.
He's probably laughing right now. But anyways, I was like, you know what? I'm glad I'm not like 50 years into my marriage, because that means I'm closer to death.
Right.
That means I've lived a long life, and I'm young. I would rather be young and be living in it and be happy with it. And you know what? And I got so mad in my dream. Lord forgive me, I was cussing. But I felt it because I felt it so strong. It's like, there's a reason why we do this. And I wish people give a crap. And like if you just knew what Jesus and God would do for you in marriage, in life, and in relationships, if you just understood. And I was just chasing this lady around the room, just trying to tell her, if you just get with God, He will tell you how to do this the right way. And right after that, I woke up and her alarm was going off and stuff. And then I felt God say right in that moment, that's how I feel.
I made the same face.
Wow.
I made the same face.
That's how He feels about when He's trying to get our attention. It doesn't necessarily have to be about relationships, but by all means, if you want to get your way, if you want to get somewhere in life,
right,
do it with Him, partner with Him, go to church, go to a good church, read the Bible, all of that. Just get with Him. Just get with Him. Yeah, so that's how that dream went. So
I think the 2 points I kind of got from that was it's kind of interesting how our society kind of always feels drawn to look towards our elders for the answers, which is fine. Our elders do have the answers. They do have the wisdom. They have lived life. But I feel like there are people around our age, especially in our generation, we have lived enough life, almost 2-3 recessions, a whole pandemic, multiple presidencies that have not just called our parents to action, but even ourselves and older siblings. So I just feel like within our generation and even other generations, there is wisdom to be shared, no matter the age. And that's my mindset going to anyone for advice, is that I don't look towards your age, I look towards your experience. And if talking to you multiple times before, even if this is our first interaction, I'll give you that utmost respect, and I'll say okay, yeah, let me hear you out. Let me see what your point is, because you may have a point of view that I may desperately need to hear. Whether it may be right or wrong, I may need it for my growth. And so, yeah, that's crazy that you say that. And I think that was God kind of testing you in a way of no, do you believe in this? Do you believe in this yourself? Because God does do that. He'll throw you a curve just to make sure you can curve with him. Make sure you're still aligned. And something that Pastor Jack, shout out to Pastor Jack, by the way, is that a couple weeks ago he said, you have to be willing to tell yourself that you're tired. And within that journey and admittance that you're tired, are you willing to be yoked down with God with that? So within your dream, within this, what you guys are creating, are you yoked down with that with God? And I believe you are. And I think that dream was just a reassurance of you know what, no matter who that lady is, no matter who the haters are, he was talking about today, the more levels you upgrade in, it's going to be bigger devils. It's, that dream is not going to be the first, and I don't think it'll be the last. I think that continue to do what you do, for real. And then the second thing I got from that was kind of what I just said a little bit, but God will give you the answer, when you're least expecting it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that it's sometimes when you're at your most, because when you're sleeping and dreaming, you should be comfortable. You should be nothing's bothering you, you catching your Z's. But I think sometimes that's the best way to God to get His point across to you. And that's so, exactly. And while you're clearing your mind and spirit, God found that was the best way to communicate to you about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely felt like, no, I'm in this. Like I know people need to hear this, and going back to like the first part of the dream that I shared with y'all is just the fact that like I grew from a student in college that I would say I barely got by, to be honest. Like I wasn't really on it when it comes to like learning. I was passively learning. Like there's a lot of things that even with this business and my other business as a DJ, as a event management, entertainment business. All those things that I took in college, but I had to grow, and we talked about this last night, like being able to apply it, but also understand who I was. I didn't really get a lot of that growing up, of like who I am,
right,
and what I was called to be, and so it just blossomed later. And it actually happens for a lot of people. When you say you get tired of being the opposite of what you want.
Yes.
Like if you want to be married, you got to get tired of being HOE. If you want to own a business, you got to stop having excuses.
Exactly.
And like there's so many more conversations we can have on that. But we got to introduce you, man.
Yes.
We have to introduce this my guy here. Matter of fact, what we're going to also have is Kayla, since you know him more because you have a relationship through Greekdom and all types of things. We're going to have you be more the host today.
Sure.
So go ahead.
Of course. All right. So I'll let you introduce yourself, say your name, what you do. You
Where
know,
you from?
let the people know who you are.
Cool.
Where they can follow you.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. My name's Jonathan Krinke. Originally from San Diego, California. Born on a naval base though. So for any of those, military brats, shout out to us. But raised in around Gary and Portage, Indiana. Okay. And I think like before even starting this interview, that's always where I go into. That's where I get most of just my character myself is without both of those cities, without, San Diego, without Gary, I don't think there could be a Jonathan here. I give so much love to those cities, especially Gary, to where it's a city where people may overlook it. There's beauty within that city, a lot of dope leaders, a lot of dope things happening now. And without it, like, I don't think I'd have a lot of that inspiration or grit or character that I carry with me every day. Starting my journey with God, my family. So my parents were together. My dad, he still is Roman Catholic, but I feel like in our family at the time, he was very strict Roman Catholic. So I didn't grow up with praise. I grew up with like very strict regulations, I would call them as a kid, or just because both my parents in the military, I always kind of pictured God as more of like a drill sergeant. And it was more like, hey, if you don't follow this, you're going to be reprimanded. And like, even praise, like it would be crazy sometimes that, growing up in a mixed household, and for those that don't know, I'm Haitian, German, and Native American. My father's German. And with that being said, sometimes growing up in a mixed household can even come down to faith. And when we would go worship with, as a family, we'd go to the church my father and his family would go to, or a type of church like that. And it was just stand up, sit down. Everyone would sing, but it wouldn't really sound like singing. It would sound like this monotone thing.
Like a hymn.
Right. But if I would go down and see family down in Alabama or out west, we praise it. We worship it. We it's not even just the experience or the act of, it's just that environment. And so that environment, every time I'd see or visit my mom's family, or even like my Nana going to church with her, or going down to Birmingham and going to church with my family there, it always felt different. And that different always stuck with me as a kid. And growing up, I had that monotone relationship with God, and it didn't really change up until I graduated college. And I think it's because that real world hit.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think it was because at the time I was in a relationship and then I just started my first, I guess, quote unquote, big boy job. And there's so much things I want to provide and do, but I felt like I was lacking at the time. And rather than looking inward within myself at the moment or coming to God or coming to the Father and asking Him what I should do, I instantly started pouring more into either my vices or more into myself to where, no, I can fix this myself. No, if I just chill out for a second, I can do this myself. And then the moment where I seamlessly like lost it all, that's where I found God to where it was like, you know what, I got nothing else. I got nothing else to lose. I lost everything.
That's how he got you.
That's how he got me.
That's good.
I don't got nothing else to lose.
He know where to hit you.
And that's where it was like, at that moment, I felt like that 8-9-year-old me sitting in church again. Do I want to, and it's crazy enough. It's something I'm always going to reference Pastor, but it's something he said a while ago where it's like, do you want to be a disciple or part of the crowd? And I felt like I was a part of the crowd my entire life to where it's like I lost everything. I got nothing else to lose. Let me just bet this one moment of just going down to my knees, praying to Him. It's like, I want to be a disciple. Let's do it. And I felt like at that moment, it's kind of like tumbling down the stairs or a domino effect. It just was like, everything else started to take place to where it's kind of like taking a shower, kind of like it's just washed over you. So that's when I felt like I started my Christian journey there. And I felt like I saw an interview you guys did before, kind of like talking about lukewarm Christian. I felt like that's really how I was up until that moment to where it was like, I know God, I know His name, I know Yahweh, I know Jehovah, but like, do I know Him? Like, do I really have a relationship with Him? Or is He more of that next door neighbor I just call upon sometimes when I need sugar? Like, hey, I need some sugar. Like, I need to mix this together. Well, what are you trying to mix? This could be anything I'm trying to get over. A barrier, a personal situation, a relationship. But it's always like I see people just calling next door, asking for sugar. And that's exactly how I was up until the moment where they cut that off. There is no more. What are you going to do? And that's, again, where I just asked myself at that moment, be a disciple or part of the crowd. So, yeah, outside of that, I work here in the city. I'm an operations manager, also a data analyst. And outside of that, I'm working within my purpose to start my business as a photographer and consultant.
There you go.
Period.
That's beautiful,
right.
man. So wait, how old are you again?
I'm 28. So
28.
Yeah.
Okay. So you saying you just pretty much had that moment at 28 of like I'm getting myself together.
I'm doing it, guys.
Yeah, because like I felt like I always had that urge to want to change, to want to do better, but I felt like I wasn't afraid of losing people. I felt like I was afraid of what was going to happen afterwards. Like I've never been in a situation where I've truly felt like, no, you don't got it. I've always felt like I had it, especially coming within the operations field. Like I went to school for absolutes. I'm supposed to be absolutely correct. I'm supposed to be absolutely right because that's how I work methodically. And that moment where it's just like, no, you don't. You could do better. It's like, oh, you're not that absolute. You're not that accurate. You're not that good. And it's just kind of like hearing that and feeling that. And then finally just being, you know what? I'm tired of those thoughts just aching at my mind. Let me just do it. Let me just bet on myself. Let me just do that. And I think anyone, if you're in that situation, I think you should just go out and do it. We have this life for a purpose, and that purpose is to live. And there's going to be moments I feel like God's always going to call us to live. And I think every single time He calls us, answer it. It's worth it. Like, it's going to be scary at first. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but it'll definitely be worth it.
What I got from that, all of that, first was the way you saw God. Literally, the way you see God is going to almost reflect how you saw your earthly father.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I didn't always have the best relationship with my dad or even my stepdad. Like, we would bicker, we would argue, or we just wouldn't talk. So when I needed something and I felt like I couldn't go to them in those instances, when I gave my life to Christ, I started to notice how I was treating God. God, you ain't gonna show up.
Right.
You ain't gonna come through. Like, you're not gonna do nothing. Like, whatever. So, but God is like, I'm gonna show you. And He would throw me bone after bone after bone, and then it would be times where I needed Him, and I would sit there and be like, I'm gonna just go do it myself because you're not gonna do it. But that's how I was seeing. I was seeing through the lens of my earthly father rather than my heavenly father.
Ooh.
So he checked me on that one. Like
Yeah.
he broke me down with that one. It happened when I was watching the sermon. That's actually in the book. I'm not even gonna tell it. Read the book. Read the book. And then the other thing I got out of it was basically like you had to bet on God.
Yeah.
You stop betting on yourself.
Yeah.
You stop saying like I had the same issue where I kept betting on myself. I'm gonna do it. Or I can fix it. This has to work. But then God pulled you to the side and was like, yeah, no. The way you're doing it isn't working.
Yeah.
And I'm right here. I've been right here the whole time.
Do you have headaches when it comes to relationships, like in your dating life or in your marriage life? Like, do you have questions when it comes to marriage and what does that even look like? Or are you having a hard time getting married? Like, ugh.
Well, if you do, we have the solution for that. We have a book titled There's an I in Marriage.
Boom.
This book has all the answers to anyone who is dating, single, married, any way for you to get those headaches out of those situations. The answers are in here.
Boom. Look, we have a YouTube page as well with our podcast. We talk about all these different topics. And yeah, just follow along. Like, subscribe. Come check us out. Get the book. Do it.
But I did want to know how, going through all of that, how did you feel as a man emotionally?
Ooh.
Like, take the spirituality out of it.
Yeah.
How did you feel as a man on earth, in your head, in your emotions, in your heart?
Like at that moment, graduating college and finding God, or just throughout my whole life?
Finding God.
Finding
God.
God.
Feeling like you said everything was taken away.
Honestly, so for those that know me, they know I'm very much into art. I like to paint on the side. It's kind of therapeutic to me. With art itself, I'm very into tattoos, and my first tattoo was for the women in my life. And for anyone that knows, my middle name is Adam. That's my mother's favorite biblical character. And something that God took from Adam to create woman was a piece of his rib. And so I have the 3 most important women in my life on my ribs. And at that moment as a man, especially as a Christian man, I was raised, to provide, to be there, to always be may not be the first priority, but I can dang sure make sure I can be the first answer. Mm-hmm. So having all of that gone, it made me feel like, well, I'm not that provider. I can't be that first answer. I can't be this and that. And that's where, we say in our generation crash out, but like, I seriously felt like I did have a spiritual and emotional crash out because I felt like who I am emotionally, even as a partner, I'm not anymore. And it's something wrong with me that I need to fix. And it's like we said, I was, even then, while I still lost it all, I still had that notion, I need to fix this. And it was literally where, then this was in a week's time span. Like that Monday, I was saying I was going to fix this. By that Friday, like, I'm like, nah, I just got to give it up. Like, I can't. Because, like, this is 6 days. Like, it's like less than a week.
That's how he
moves. Like, I just felt suffocated to where it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is draining. I'm doing this only 5 days. Like, I can't do this for 5 more months, 5 more years. Like, even for the person that I feel like I want to pursue, I can't do that to them. If me, myself, I'm in this headspace. I'm in this whole season. And I don't know what you would call that season per se, but yeah, as soon as that 5th day hit, I was like, nah, let's just come on, we got to talk, bro. Like, I got to talk to you, please. Yeah. Like, I really need clarity over this. And I think that's another thing when you're Christian and single is that we're asking for a person when we need to ask for the attributes to be shown within ourselves. If you're asking for a wife, then, brothers, I'm talking to you, then how can you be as a husband? Because, like, you're asking for a wife that's calm, cool, and collective. Well, are you calm, cool, and collective? It's not it's not always opposites attract. Sometimes, we all as humans, we all get upset. That's fine. Like, even Jesus got upset at the market. With that being said, though, Jesus is Jesus. He can call him himself. But we need somebody that can complement and do that for us. And if you can't do that for yourself, and that's where I felt the second piece was after God kind of confirmed within me that I'm tired, he also showed the attributes that I'm lacking for myself. And then with that, I started this whole, like, kept my head down for a minute, worked with you for a couple times, and I felt like, no, I need to really dig deep. And something that I do at my job, we say a lot, is deep dive. And I needed to deep dive myself, the barriers that I had. And it's kind of scary. Do I say everyone should do it? No. I feel like if you have a solid, group around you, do it. Me, I'm hard-headed, so I was just so into that. I'm locked in with God at the moment, nobody else. And with that, I just kept jabbing at myself to where there were some days where I would lie to myself, be like, I'm fine. When deep down I know, I'm tired still. And it wasn't until a couple weeks ago, Pastor said that, and I just broke down right there. Because, I am tired. I do want, this peace to find within somebody. But at the same time, though, that's all on God's plan. That's not your time, it's God's time.
Exactly.
And you have to be patient with that. You can't, because the more you keep poking and rushing, you'll get your answer, but it won't be the answer that you want. It won't be the outcome that you want. It'll be a half done.
Yep.
And God works into completion.
Exactly. Hey, wow. Yes.
He works into completion. He completes everything he starts.
I was going to say that you said you don't know what season this is. I would say it's, and maybe we can just call it this for the sake of the podcast.
Yeah.
This is your I season.
Yeah.
This is your, what is it in me that I have to work on? This is the season of healing.
Stop fighting.
This season of consistency.
Yep.
Season of holding yourself accountable. And the fact that you brought up like a major point, and this is what I established here in our household. Like, I want a quiet house.
Yes.
So I thought back, even as of yesterday, like a piece of my past. It's like I really wasn't giving that to someone else, and how could someone mimic that for me if I didn't show up with peace, if I didn't show up with clarity, if I'm not telling them the truth or being transparent or, holding myself accountable when I mess up. And I wouldn't say I was a bad person.
Right.
But there's still those pieces that we think we are ready for when we're so young. But it's like, dog, you have no idea.
No idea.
And tapping in with God, like sharing my dream, like you get with God, He will tell you, like He told you, like, hey, no, you got some things to work on, bro.
Yeah, we got work to do. Like Kobe said, job's not done.
The job's not done. Yeah. So that's interesting to hear. So you basically are discovering your I, who you are, and like what's deep within you. So what's one of the most painful, if you feel like being that vulnerable, what's one of the most painful things you've learned about yourself in the last month, or when you actually gave it all to God? What's the most painful thing you've discovered about yourself? And then what's the most exciting thing you discovered about yourself?
I think it's my strength and my weakness that I'm able to give love, but it's hard to me to receive. And with that, I'm also talking about within myself. Like, it's hard for me to receive love for myself just because sometimes I feel like maybe I don't deserve it. And that's another thing, growing up to where it was like, you almost had to earn everything. And which is fair, yes, but, almost pushing your kid to be like, you have to earn attention to where it's like, okay, then that's a different conversation. But I would say, that's probably my most painful thing was I'm able to give so much love and I'm like, I can't shut it off. Like a lot of people talk about golden retriever. Yeah, like a faucet, even better. I was going to say golden retriever energy, but the faucet works way better. I can't shut off that faucet. Like I can give, even if the situation is dead and gone, like I'm able to still give just because I'm very empathetic. I'm very methodical. I'm very intentional. And I think that, and reflective. So within that sense, I found those qualities I just named, and those became my strengths. While I thought giving love was a weakness, I saw that as a strength. And then what I truly saw as a weakness was just and it's right, I feel like it's everyone's fear, but it's that fear as a single person of the unknown. And that's not just looking for a partner. I think it's looking for opportunities and worth within yourself. And I think that for me, I was that kid that I didn't have that set plan on. I wanted to be a cop, or I wanted to be in the army, or I wanted to be this and that. No, I told my mom, I want to be a chef. I want to be a painter. I want to do this and that, and I want to have my own company.
I remember meeting your mom, and she thought very highly of you, and she's like, "Oh yeah, he's gonna do this, like he can do this. John used to do this," and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I think for especially having a live fan from down south, that whole jack of all trades thing always got to me. Like, I just thought it was just being useful on all fronts. And turning back, that weakness that I found again was that fear of just the unknown. So I really thank God within that moment of just kind of like setting me down and calming me down and being like, hey, this is what you're lacking. It's okay, because I'm noticing it. You're noticing it. And that's all that matters.
Do it before the world see it.
Right. And even then, it was kind of reassuring that it's like, even if somebody outside of this, and this is like in that moment I was in my room, he was like, even anyone outside of this room, if they see it before you see it, that's fine, because I already see it. And so I can always come back to God at the end of the day. Yes, there's going to be people that are going to point out my inequalities, that are going to point out my flaws. But I know that once I get back home, once I sit down, and I already know I can talk to the first person that already saw it before anyone else.
You already know. That's why they say tell the truth, shame the devil.
Exactly.
You already know.
So, kind of going back to where you said that you have love that's like a faucet, and sometimes it's hard to shut off. And you can be as open as you want about this, but I think as men, we learn some qualities, whether that's through our upbringing, whether that's through media, or just being around high school or college or even middle school. You start wanting to appease a woman and wanting to have her be in your space. And then you start, when you find that one person, you just start giving. Yeah.
They call it that a lover boy.
Yeah.
Right.
A hopeless romantic.
Right. Yeah. And so we think because that's what works, or even that's what we see when we're young, like that's works. Romancing her is what works. And here you are now thinking, oh, it's more than that.
It's way more.
Way more. So kind of walk me through, like, where did you feel like you got your lover boy side? Yeah. And then, what do you feel like you've added to it now? Because I wouldn't say you've changed, but you can add to it. So
I feel like I know where that question came from.
I feel like with the lover boy side, I get it from, honestly, just culture I was just raised around, especially with my mom and, with family down south and out west, where I don't know. I'm very blunt. I'm very intentful. Like, a lot of people say it's like, okay, well, every guy will always say, oh, it's her eyes. No, but what about her nails? What about the reason why she picked out that color? Like, I like finding things out about that, and like in the best way possible, making sure that you as a woman, that you're reminded of like those beauties about yourself. So I think I got all of that from the women in my life.
That's not the best in a woman, though.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, and my older sister always made sure, oh my gosh, that like she made sure, you're not gonna embarrass me out here. You gotta, treat your woman right. And I was like, I know, but she would really give me the tools though and brothers, like there's the difference. There's hearing and there's listening, and she really, my mom, my aunties, my nana really taught me the real weight on how to listen to a woman. And then throughout the female friends I've had throughout my life, they've taught me other ways that women now how they want to be listened to. And whether it's them just saying like, oh my gosh, you can't believe what just happened today, or me just scrolling through TikTok and just noticing different things. It's like, I think I got my lover boy from all those different channels, and then I just kind of put my own style on it. Just because, again, somebody can give you advice, which is all well and good, but it's on how you apply
But
it.
it's you, yeah.
So
you
what
make
I
you.
added to it was just, I'm a photographer, I'm a painter, and I like taking my time. And I think for me, that's what I do. That's what I bring to the table, to where, like I said before, if we're talking and you're telling me that, hey, I have this job, it's super stressful. This is the ways I like to, just cool down. I like to work out. All right, cool. Let's find different ways we can work out, and then also pray about it. That way we can make sure your job is that less stressful, and then we can work together to find different cool workout methods. Or you like to paint. Cool. What does this color mean to you? What does this style of painting mean to you? Maybe just talking about that would be cool. I've also noticed that faith as well, you need to lead with faith before you meet anybody, whether that's going to be as a partner, as a friend, whatever. You need to lead with faith. And that's what I've added. I think that right there is the most important aspect I've added to myself and character as a Christian man now, where I don't think what I've added before was that faith, that intent on faith as well. Because none of that's going to be, I think, and none of what I will tell someone will hold any weight if I don't have that intent first.
That's good.
So you would say, and kind of just doubling down on, how we as men should view being a provider and being a romantic. Just doing those romantic things is not enough.
It's not.
Okay.
Women go through more, and somebody says I'm wrong, then prove me wrong. But I just personally feel women go through a million more things every day, and I'm speaking on that coming from a household that was raised by a single mom, seeing and hearing, because I'm 13, 14 years old, talking to my mom. Well, what's wrong? Why are you upset? Why? Oh, what's going on between you and Pop? Are you cool? And then the moment to when they actually separated, and actually seeing a woman go through that pain every day and talking her through it, like, that's how I really gained that appreciation on, like, women go through a lot more than we realize. And if you just take that moment to, even as a friend, just listen, there's a million helps so much. So I think when you're trying to see what kind of partner you're trying to be, always try to make sure you're there for her, or make sure your intent is to be a friend first. Like, trust and believe, there's a million fishes in the ocean. Anybody can find somebody for anything, but to find someone that can truly, like, sit down, listen to you, and be there for you step by step, hand by hand, that's really special. And I feel like that's something that, while in that season of singleness, work on that for yourself. Because again, you can't do that for yourself. How can you do that for someone else?
You can't. Yeah, you can't. So you said first of all, that was good. That was real good. But you said your parents, when they separated, you were young.
Yeah.
So I have a twofold question.
Yeah.
Do you believe in marriage? And how has your view of marriage been shaped according to how you saw that happen and then now?
Yeah, that's good.
Like, versus the two.
I feel like, first, my parents' marriage really affected, like, my relationship at the time on all fronts. Like, I felt like young, especially if you're in a serious relationship young, you always try to compare it to what you see or what you saw every day.
Yep.
Unfortunately, for me, I only saw half of that. And even then, the way how it was essentially like, my dad left middle, like, we're talking about this the weekday, it's school. I got school in a couple hours. I gotta be here. And he's gone, he's not. And that right there, where it was that he's gone and he's not going to be there, that affected me on all fronts, especially on how I thought having an issue with the man was just going to affect me on, like, myself as a man and then other men in general. Whole time, the issues that I had with my father affected my mother and I. It affected my relationship. It affected my relationship with my sisters too, not just my partner. And so that's where, honestly, I call that, like, my level one, where I was at in terms of just, like, trying to understand my parents' marriage and trying to understand if marriage is for me. And I've always thought marriage was for me. I felt like I was super young in school, just like, I can do everything I want professionally, but I want to be a dad first. I want to be a husband first. That's like the coolest thing ever. Like, you're talking about hanging out with your best friend every day. Like, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
So I think I had to really detach myself from my personal issues, trauma, and experiences that I've had with my family in order to build a new foundation on what I think marriage is. Because I think that's what kind of affected me so much to where I was like, no, I got to be like my pops. I got to be like them. Well, it didn't work out for them. So why do you think it's going to work out for you? And that's something that God kind of showed me. It hurt. It hurt. And and again, like, this is something I'm figuring out almost within the past 10, 13 months now, where it's just a lot of these.
You how old?
I'm 28.
Exactly.
I'm figuring this out now, y'all.
You didn't figure that out when you were 13.
No, I figured this out now. So, like, 15 years later, like, I'm catching up on it now. And it's a roller coaster, but I got God with me, making sure that it's just a couple drops I'll deal with. But what you asked, like, do I still believe in marriage? Yes. And I want to be married. I do. I feel like, though, what I gained from before was that I got to be married by this age. I got to be married by this time. I got to do this and that. I need to have a kid by this time. And if I don't, I'm a failure. Well, God says, no, you're not. God says, not in my eyes, you're not.
No.
He says, you will, but not right now. And I think with that, we don't like that answer.
Of course.
No.
And I think that's where you see a lot of single people detaching from their real self and going, like, acting out or going outside and doing what they want. It's ultimately, like, you got to accept the fact that you're not always going to be everyone's favorite. And also, at this moment, God does not want you to be everyone's favorite. He wants you to be your own favorite. So work on yourself with Him. And I think that since we can't physically hold on to Him, we can't physically see Him like that, people get upset, they get nervous, they get scared, especially on those nights where it's like, oh my gosh, like, I hate being single. Well, guess what? Like, God is there with you still. Take that moment. Talk to Him about it. He knows. Trust me, He knows how frustrated you are.
Yeah.
Like, especially when it comes to temptations of the flesh. Calm down. Talk to God about it. He knows. And then at the end of it all, just ask for the Holy Spirit to guide you through that. That way, you don't have to deal with anything else.
You by yourself. Not
Yeah.
by yourself. That's good.
I was going to say, you brought up, and this really has just been a spin on the whole conversation.
Yeah.
Like, being able to understand that God wants to bless you when it's due time.
Yes.
Because you think you want to be married by 24 and have kids by 26 and a house by 26 and brand new cars and stuff like that. And here I am at 30 finally proposing to Kayla.
Right.
And then getting married and then having everything. But that's because we spent time with God so that it can happen in a peaceful way. Because there was an interesting conversation we had yesterday. I don't know if we can really share a lot. I was DJing at a hair store, the Hair Expo. Shout out to them. Thank you for having me. But one of the people there, that they were there after the event, and he was telling us a story about him and his
Baby's mother.
baby's mother. I was trying to say it in a respectful way. Thank you. And he was just going through a lot. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think he said he was like, what, 26 or something?
25.
25. And we'll compare, not like saying like you're better or whatever, better off or whatever. It's just a matter of fact that had he had gotten with God and learned how to navigate a relationship and being a provider and picking a good significant other, getting married to them first, and had we slowed down,
Right.
that's essentially the
Slow
story
down.
behind it. If we just slowed down, the pitfalls we would overcome. So so I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I like out of
You
genuineness,
avoided a lot of stuff.
like going to church today. Not only you were there, but like there's other people that I've been around, whether it was DJing or other friends and stuff, and just seeing them in church, and I'm just like, man, the fact that you show up every week, I just know that God is doing something for you.
He is, definitely. Yeah.
It gets heavy, but we definitely do avoid a lot of pitfalls, a lot of like unnecessary things for no reason. But I did have another question. If you were done,
I'm good.
what would you tell your younger self if you saw him?
Ooh.
Like my dream.
Yeah. Oh.
Like you didn't plan on seeing him, but you saw him and you were like, whoa.
So throughout this entire interview, I've had this, and my dad knows about this. This entire speech, I always just, I think it just sits in my heart every time. And it's crazy. Nick was talking about his dream. Matthew McConaughey, great actor, has some great shows, great movies. But he had this acceptance speech. Forgot which award it was for. Don't quote me if it was Oscar or like, I don't know. It was a gold. Somebody that was gold, and he got it. But something that resonated with me, and I hope this touches somebody out there. But we're always so worried about what is it that who you are. What is it that what you want? What is it that you want to aspire to be? Who do you want to aspire to be? And it's that right there. Who do you want to aspire to be? And what he said was, my goal for myself as Matthew McConaughey is I want to be the me that I want to be in 10 years from now. All right. And then somebody asked him though, hey, Matt, how are you? Who do you want to be now? I don't know. I haven't found that guy yet. I'll let you know in the next 10 years. And then 10 years later happened on. Somebody else asked Matt, well, hey, you're here now. You're 40. Like, you're Matthew McConaughey. You're a Hollywood actor. Like, who do you want to be now? I don't know. I'll let you in the next 10 years. And that hit me because I'm reflective. Like, he's giving himself 10 years. I give myself 10 seconds to make or break.
Okay.
Like, again, it's the operations and military brat in me. It's like, I give myself 10 seconds. And it was that there where, like, if I were to tell myself something now is that, hey, it's going to be okay. Calm down and give yourself those 10 years. It's going to be okay. Is it going to be fun? No. Is it going to hurt? Yeah. But guess what, though? We're going to be all right. And I think if I told him, do you guys watch The Bear?
We're going to start after we finish some other shows.
Oh, yeah. So, not spoiling anything, there's a quote, though, that I love from The Bear. I actually wanted to get it tattooed. It's called Let It Rip. And it's called just, let it rip means just let it all out. Be your best self. And that's what I want to tell younger John is you have a gift as an artist. You are very empathetic, and you can do this. Don't waste your time. Don't worry about wasting anyone's other time, and just let it rip. Go ahead, kid, and just do it. And that's what I would just tell them. Just do it.
That's good. That's real good. Wow. I wish younger me would have heard that too. Like, just stop worrying. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Give yourself some time. You don't have to rush it. Yeah.
Because I feel like in our own respective fields, even like, don't quote me, Nick, as a DJ, but like we all be like, well, I aspire to be like this person. I want to be as successful as that. And we have that vision. Maybe it may not be somebody specifically, but it's that lifestyle or that version of success we aspire to be.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's two things. We're nervous to feel like, can I handle it? And then also, can I achieve it? And I think with that is just do it. Find out.
Yeah.
Let go and let God. Like, just let God handle the rest and try it. And I feel like with my whole photography journey, like, I don't care. It's now or even 10 years from now, I'll credit Nick to it because I did this for fun in college. Like, I just was like, this is all right. This is cool. But once Nick gave me y'all camera for that Love and Trappiness show, it just felt like that was there. It's like God literally hitting me on my shoulder and be like, that's it, bro. You got it. This is your purpose. That's it was that warm feeling where it's like, oh my gosh.
You
like,
felt successful.
I felt successful. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's my own equipment or not. And that's something else you said. It's like, bro, you don't need the best equipment. Just go out and do it. And like even the camera that I have now, like it's not super expensive, but it helps me do what I need to do. It gets the job done, and I'm having so much fun doing it.
And you're gonna appreciate it when you do get that camera.
Yes.
Because you're gonna be like, I worked for this. I'm
Yes.
getting this camera.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
it's kind of like how you felt when you were like, I got the speakers, I got the turntables, I got this. And you're like y'all don't even know. I had to hear about this for a whole week. I was not annoyed, but it was like, yeah, he's excited. Like whenever he gets to invest in something and I notice it, I'm like, he's happy. And God, you right on time because you about to make a breakthrough because he made an investment.
Yep.
So like whenever he invests, I notice there's a light.
Because you start to have a bigger expectation for yourself.
Yes.
And you're ready to show up now. Like
Yeah.
I think that's for men.
I think women
You
can
think
do
women
that
do
too.
it too?
I think in general, though, I think it's for creatives.
It's-
Like,
yeah.
For creatives,
like
creatives.
when you get
I
your
like
hair,
that.
like you like, okay, I got my packs, I
Yeah.
got all the things that I
Oh,
can
yeah.
do with my hair.
Yeah.
You be like, babe, I'm gonna do this with my hair. I'm gonna do this. I'm like, okay, you're gonna do it.
You're right.
And then look
Right.
at you, look at you, look at you,
yeah.
look
Creatives.
at you.
You're right. I'll use creatives.
Because
Yeah.
once you find that new genre, and now it's
Yeah.
like, this is something I've never heard before. Let me mix this with my regular stuff.
Yeah.
Now you created a whole new mix. And I feel like even
Mm.
just that is a tool as a creative I've seen with DJs in the past where that light bulb. And even with photographers, like you could get, I don't care if it's a $10 filter. That new filter, I promise you, now I got 10 different photo shoots now with this $10 filter that now I can achieve.
Yeah.
And it's just that spark. It's just, I can't describe it,
Yep.
but anyone that knows where it's just like, yup, I got it. I'm ready to go. Next level, here we go.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep,
it's
yep.
next level.
Right.
Because I've noticed, we talked about this the past 2 days too, where we realized like God has made us shift at least 2 or 3 times since we've been together.
Yep.
And though we was like, why? And then last night we realized God knows where to hit. He knows where to hit us individually,
Yeah.
but he knows where to hit us together. Because when he hits us, he said, I hit you there because you sitting still. I don't need you sitting still. I need you to move. Now it's one thing to rest, but when we've gotten comfortable like with our finances, or we've gotten comfortable with our business, we've gotten comfortable with the house. God is like, no.
Right.
I created you to
be a creative.
fruitful.
Yeah.
Be fruitful. You can be fruitful sitting still for a certain amount of time.
Yes.
But when we get comfortable, God will hit us somewhere and he's like,
Time to go.
you need to move.
Yeah.
You need to get off your butt and start. And it's not laziness. It's coming from being too content
Yes.
in your space. Because you get too comfortable, you can't produce. You can't be creative.
I agree. And I think to help you guys with that, what helped me, and I'm kind of like trying to tell other creatives as well that I'm working with, some of my clients, is that got to give yourself grace.
Mm-hmm.
That as creatives, yes, we got to, push ourselves, content.
Yep.
But we can organize that. So to make a better approach to that, make a content calendar, put that on your phone, put that on a notebook, put that on the wall, wherever you need to visually, physically see it, and then put that in your heart and mind. Hey, this is what I got to do. Focus up. It's time to, this is the grind season. And then, lastly, give that to God. Because then you did everything you could do, controllable wise. It's something else we talk about in operations, the controllables and uncontrollables. Just because sometimes what I can do, I'm gonna just nerd out for a moment. Just the changes that the changes that I can input per the labor hours, or just even to make a simple switch by purchasing or acquiring a certain material, can just save the site hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's all well and good. Woo woo. I did that for 1 week. Now where's my grace for that? I gotta chill out. I gotta make sure that, you know what, I don't work too hard. You play hard, whatever, but like make sure that you're giving yourself enough time for grace, and then afterwards, boom, time to get right back on that horse. Just because you didn't pray and work so hard for this just to get just this.
Exactly.
So that's why, like, I feel where y'all are coming from, especially that drag where it's just like you hit that block of, okay, what's the next thing? What's the next theme, or who are we gonna interview next? I feel like if you just take a step back, chill for a second, give that to God, and just be like, what? And then just treat that like a regular conversation, like, hey, babe, I wonder what would be cool with this. Oh, that would. And then I think just letting that flow. Yeah, I think just giving yourself grace, that's just the biggest thing. I've just seen a lot of burnout recently, even with myself sometimes, where it's just like, dang, I just, like, even just 2 weeks ago, I drove to Chicago on a whim just so I can be a part of an event to take some flicks at. And, like, afterwards, I was tired, I was burnt out. And I was supposed to post the photos that week, and I didn't. Then the next week came, and I didn't. I was just so tired from work to where I was like, all right, I'm giving myself a little bit too much grace, a little bit too much rest. I need to, come on, it's time to get up, time to get going. And I think with that, God was telling me on both those times where, hey, rest for a moment because you're going to need it. And then also he woke me up at that moment to be like, hey, rest time's over. Come on, let's get active.
Because if you didn't move when he told you to move, which I feel like we all do this.
Yeah.
If you don't move when he tells you to move, he's going to hit you.
Yeah.
Where he going to hit you in that, like, kind of like how when Jacob wrestled with him.
Yeah.
Like, he hit him in that hip. He told you, sit down, boy.
Sit down.
Like, you better, come on, get to work. Like, God will hit me in my hip and here, put the laptop on me. Start working on that.
Yeah.
Start working on the workbook. Start working on this. And I'm like, right.
And try different approaches to it sometimes. Like for me, I think sometimes I'm someone that I have to have a physically calm setting in order to get creative. So, I'll burn my candles, do this and that. But then also what I found recently is out of all the Janae Aiko songs and SZA songs I could play, I needed to get back to my roots and play some gospel. And I think with that too, just putting yourself back into God's presence while creating is something that we kind of need to do sometimes.
He's the creator.
You know what's crazy? In my head, I was thinking, and it was partially because of what Pastor Jack said today. We got to put away these sad song playlists sometimes.
Yeah.
And forgive. Move on.
Mm-hmm.
But what I add to that is God has called us to be creatives. If you're still putting your mind to who hurt you, the pain that you've been through and all of that, you're not going to move forward. That's that. Even if the only thing you ever wanted was a relationship, if you're still stuck on your past, you're not going to be able to create the future.
No, and when he said that too, I was like, oof.
I broke down.
Oh yeah, same.
I broke down.
And he just kept hitting today too on that, where it's just like, you got to forgive. You got to. And he brought back last week's sermon on the two people crucified with Jesus. Yes, the two criminals. And it was just crazy how, like, even the criminal that was just mocking Jesus, Jesus forgave him. And something that I tell myself, but I feel like I should just be more fluid and telling more people is like, we can't think so highly of ourselves that we can't forgive someone when Jesus forgave all of us. And not on top of that, not only did he forgive all of us, he opened up heaven's gates with that too. So with that love and forgiveness, why can't we do that for somebody? Now I understand we probably can never forget. I get that. And I've been in situations even recently where it affected my relationship, where I had to understand, like, I may not forget, but I need to forgive. I need to, because this ain't me. Me living the next day by day, hating, hurting, just bad. Like, you start, it really starts affecting your health to the point where it's like, even I can't physically keep living like this. I gotta make a change. And yeah, like Pastor Jack said, definitely gotta forgive. Need to.
And you start misrepresenting God in that.
Yes.
And that's what because we always say, like, what did you think of church today when we leave? And when he asked me that, I was like, it hit me because there's a lot of things right now in my life that I have to, I'm telling people, or I'm telling myself that I forgive them. But when that movie starts to replay, I become a different person.
Yes.
So it's like, I go from this very nice person, or this, this person who is supposed to represent God, to this person who just is disgusted or angry. And it's like, yeah, Kayla, you might have really deep down forgiven them, but like, really, have you? You saying that, you may feel that, but when that movie start playing, it's different. You become a different person. And it's not always publicly, but you get so distracted that your emotions or how you feel about that situation, you forget that you're actually working on the workbook for this book. You forget that you're actually supposed to be in the moment, like you and your husband are watching TV, or you're at work. You need to pay attention.
Yeah.
So, and the movie never played for too long, but it's still
enough.
it's enough to make me mad or
Yeah.
make me disgusted. So
Yeah.
God definitely hit me there, and I was like, "You're right." And earlier this week, He told me it was about our businesses, how we need to be thinking bigger, and I can't tell you next until your mind is clear. And I'm like, "What do you mean my mind is clear?" And he said, "Stop letting your emotions lead you." And I said, "Okay." So it's times where the whole week, all of that, he would give me something and not give me the next thing. And I'm like, "What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?"
Yeah.
And when I realized it's little by little, he was telling me. So when he told me, "Put your emotions aside, I need you," in order for me to tell you anything, you have to have a clear mind. And when I was like, "Okay, how do I have a clear mind?" He said, "Put your emotions away." I'm like, "Okay." So when hearing that today, it was like, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
That's what you meant. Like, I could be focused, so excited, so graceful, so happy, so everything. That movie play,
Yeah.
boom, I'm distracted.
Yeah.
And now I gotta remember, what was I doing? Now I gotta, okay, Lord forgive me.
You
Now
gotta
I gotta pray. Now I gotta
That's
repent.
it.
Now I gotta do this. Now I gotta do
That's
that.
a recovery
It's a-
process, and
You
all
can't-
that time you recovering.
You could have been creating.
Exactly.
So,
You
yeah.
can't worry, and that's what's with those situations as well that you may share with someone where it's just like, oh my gosh, like last time I saw you, it was up and it stuck. Like I feel like with folks where, and what I do, I give people two options. Like you can either walk away from it or act towards it, and even with that alone, like I cannot expect somebody to understand me because only God and I can understand me. It takes them to come out to want to talk to me to understand me. And when on the flip side of that, I can't understand folks. If that's how you act or if that's how you want things to be, then that's how things are meant to be. I can only work within the space that I'm given. Yeah, oh my gosh, especially when that movie plays, like you can instantly just feel just a whole rush of emotions. But I think kind of what Pastor Jack just says, just admit that you're tired, admit that, you know what, just give it to God and just forgive. And you feel better.
So much better.
And I feel like, yeah, you're not going to feel good day one, but that's all it takes. Instead of just saying one day, like, ooh, one day I'm going to stop being mad at them. Ooh, one day I'm going to finally be cool and we can talk this out versus take that day one. It's not going to feel 110% day one, but I promise you by day 7, it's going to feel a lot better than 0%.
Yeah.
It's going to feel way better. And I feel like that's something that kind of just helped me just through my pain and stuff is Jim and God, the 2 G's. Like, if I could give both to that and build this discipline for both and hold myself accountable to both disciplines, then I'll be able to understand my flaws, forgive myself for said flaws, and then in that same turn, forgive others as well. And I don't need validation from them on, okay, now I know John forgives me. No, I just need God to know that I'm now in that mental mature space in my life now where it's like, I forgive them. I'm good.
One thing, well, actually, I have a couple of thoughts, and I'm trying to keep it and remember. But you just brought up the gym. One thing that I felt this week was we need reps.
Yes.
And so
Ooh.
I'm a person that I want to be able to lift 300 pounds. Or when I'm
serious.
I'm serious. I'm a person where, like, when I go to work, I want to crush it every day. When I'm I'm DJing, I want to crush it all the time. But there's sometimes where something new is coming into your life, and instead of expecting to crush it, just do the reps.
Yeah.
Just start at rep number 1, okay? And then, especially people that's been in the gym or like they know when you're starting to lift heavier. The idea is you may not get it right now, but you start remembering what it feels like in your hands. And then by the time you get strong enough, you're like, oh, I remember that used to be heavy. No, I got it now because like I felt it. It was in my hands. Like, but that's the same thing about life. When you start getting the reps of dating, okay, not very many people meet someone and get married and have a perfect marriage on first meetup.
Right.
Like the first.
It's not always.
It's the reps of meeting people. It's the reps of okay, gauging and understanding who's a liar, who tells the truth, who's a good friend, who's accountable, who's not accountable, all these different things. So you get reps at meeting people, and then you're like, okay, I got a good sense of people, and then it's like, okay, now it's like, okay, I think we can get married. Okay, let's practice being peaceful. Let's practice this. There's so many things we have to practice. I can go on and on and on, but like if you get the reps in, and that's what you're talking about, gaining trust in God and spending time with Him and stuff. Like if I just get my reps in, I know God is going to lead the way, and I'm going to be all right.
Yep.
And so my follow up question is, if there was one person out there, we talk about women being helpers, helpmates, and stuff. Not to make it ingenuine, because romance will always be there.
Right.
But if you had an ideal woman that approached you, what would you want her to address in your life that would aid you and make you feel like you could be the best you?
Oh my gosh. What she can do to aid me to be the best me. Wow. That hit home. I think it would be please reassure me that like I'm not doing too much, and that at the end of the day, like I don't need reinsurance on like don't blow smoke up my butt. That's something my dad used to always say. But truly, like I just want a friend. That's all. I think growing up as well, my childhood, that's something that I've always aspired to gain, was like a true friend. And I mean somebody that's like what Calvin is to Hobbes, Woody is to Buzz, that ride or die. And I think to reassure me that no matter what happens, if we work through it together, it's going to be okay. Because I came from a household where, it's not working out, deuces. Well, you don't even want to try it now. It's, what about the second chance? There is none. Well, what about, no. And yeah, a lot of it does come from physical and emotional trauma. But if you can just sit me down, because I like to move. I'm always active. If I'm ever sitting down somewhere, it was with my dog Kobe. But if you can just sit me down and just let me know at the end of the day that we got this together, then that's it. It doesn't matter what barrier, what is looking right at us. Like, if you just tell me that alone, then cool.
I dig it. Yeah, man.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's a question I think a lot of young men probably don't think about. I want her to be pretty. I want her to be. I want her to have a body. I want her to have a good job. I want her to be nice to me. I want her to. They start saying these very.
And what's crazy? I don't mean to cut you off.
You good.
Have y'all heard? There's another podcast out there called Tonight's Conversation.
Oh yeah.
I love posting so many things about some of their brothers and sisters on there because they really speak truth. Some that they said like that. When you ask a man now, it's always something from the flesh or something like she got to have nice nails, or she got to remind me of my mama, or she got to do this and that. Like
she got to cook.
Like, and that's things like, nah, bro, deep down, what is it on those nights where it's just you and God? That's like, what is it that you asked Him for? And just lead with that. Because something that they said on one post was, you looking for all the wrong reasons. How are you looking for a wife in a club? Like, you trying to say, well, I want someone I can go to the farmer's market with. Going to the strip club ain't the farmer's market. Or
girl don't go to farmer's market.
Right. Or it's like, no, it's like, I don't like a slow life. I want somebody I can always go out with. Okay, well, no offense, man, but like, going to the grocery store or going to Pilates, that's not fast life. Like, so go to where
those are essentials.
Basically, like, what are you doing? So, like, I feel as young men and also men around our age, have that intent on and be so real with yourself on who you are praying for and who you're trying to pursue. And that's another thing. Don't ever chase, y'all. Pursue who you're trying to pray for and who you're trying to pursue, and be so real with that within yourself. Because again, it may really be you. Like, you may be like, God, why aren't you doing this and that for me? Well, sir, like, again, you're looking for a wife, and you are in all the wrong places looking for a wife. You are literally, like, what you're praying to God, you're doing the exact opposite as soon as you leave that door. So what is it that you really want?
I read something. It said, if you want something new, you have to do something different.
Yes.
But I did have one more question, two more questions actually.
Yeah.
The first one is, you said you have to pursue, not chase. What's the difference?
Yes. I always talk about my family and upbringing. So my mother always taught me two things, especially within our culture, is that I need to make sure that I can at least cook, and then the second thing is I can be a gentleman. Growing up with, yes, I have brothers, but my sisters really, really brought life into color for me in terms of the ups and downs of it. And something they shared their perspective as women to me was that you can show attraction to somebody, but you don't have to be weird about it. Like, yes, the same attractions you feel for someone, I guarantee women feel that same way too. That same temptations of the flesh, women feel that same way too. But you trying to be goofy and trying to just put on a facade, which is basically lying not only to her, but to God and yourself, that's not cool. And so what chasing is to me is, you're not understanding. She may tell you, hey, you're a great guy right now, but I'm not looking for a relationship. All right, cool. So why are you asking her what she's doing at 2 a.m.? Like, that's chasing.
Why are you messing with her?
Why are you messing with her? She told you already. Why are you, when she gives you that opportunity, that privilege to message her, why is it always something about what you're doing? Or, like, come on, we can always say WID or WYD so many times, but, like, truly, like, get to know her. Right. Pursuing now, or better yet, another great example. You saying you like her, all the things. A man that chases is going to take her out to McDonald's or something like that. Or basically, she done told you all these weeks what her favorite thing is. Why are you telling her the day before? Hey, what is it? Where's a good place that you'd like to go to? Come on now.
She already told you.
A man that pursues, though, is going to intently listen. Hey, I've had a long day. Cool. Instead of asking what you're doing, why not ask, during those long days, what's a great way for you to relax? That's not you being weird, but that's you understanding her on, okay, so I know if there's a time where she gives me the privilege to hang out with her or to say, hey, I'm having a long day, I need some help. Now I know the right protocol on, hey, this is what she likes, this is what she wants. And I'm telling you, that works not just to try to be somebody's partner, but somebody's friend. Because more often than not, we need more friends than we do a partner here sometimes. And when I think we're called to be a partner, just be true with that intent and pursue. Be respectful of what they want just as much as they're going to be respectful of what you want. That's how it works. It's not, what I kind of correlated to is us praying to God and thinking that we're going to receive exactly what we pray for.
The genie.
You praying for that new job next week. You're praying for money. You think you're going to get it like that? And the way you're acting? Same thing with the woman. You acting like this nice guy, and you thinking you're going to get exactly what you want from her. No. No, and true enough, do you think you're the only brother doing those nice things? So, at the end of the day, be real with your intent, and don't waste her time. Same way you don't want your time wasted. Just be real.
It reminded me of when I pursued you. I came from a perspective that, one, I didn't want to date anyone. I was tired of myself.
You was tired of doing your reps.
I was tired of doing it. So when she came around, we talked about it on past podcasts, but she was talking to other guys as well. But like you said, being intentional. Okay, so I want to be your friend. I want to get to know you. I would love to take you on a date. Are you free next weekend? We can do something next weekend. And always, instead of, like you said, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, let's schedule some time. When are you free again? What do you want to do? Well, let's do that. Let's do that. And I think pursuing is when you know you won't waste time.
Yes, exactly.
And your motives are right. What I got from it, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say chasing is just because you can.
Yeah, you're a dog with a bone.
There we go. You took it. Yeah. Chasing. Yeah. You're doing it because you can, and you have that free will. But pursuing, no, there's intention behind this. This is my calling. Whether we end up in a relationship or we just be friends, we're supposed to know each other.
Yeah.
Like, that's why
you want to as well. You want to do that.
You want to.
Like, it doesn't
Mhm.
feel like a chore or a hobby. Like, oh my gosh,
Their
this
motives
is the
are
upteenth
different.
person that's talking to me. Like, no,
Mhm.
like, and be real with that too. If you don't want anyone talking to you, let them know that.
Exactly. Don't
Yeah.
string nobody along if you don't want
No.
to talk to them, because that ends up hurting them.
Yes.
Like, and then when you find out they're hurt, sometimes you be hurt, and the way you show that is very different. Like, you may come off as if you're not hurt,
Yeah.
but your behavior, you're indulging in more women, you're indulging in more men, or
Yeah.
you're indulging in more drinking and going out. You're hurt
You're
because that
hurt.
one person, you found out you hurt them because you didn't tell them up front what your intentions were.
Exactly.
So it causes a ripple effect. I feel like every time we come in contact with other people, we cause these ripple effects that can either be good or bad.
Yes.
So like whatever you do, however it affects that person, is gonna bounce back. It's gonna boomerang back to you, and then it's gonna cause a ripple effect on this end and this end.
Amen. Yup.
So you sow a good seed, and then that causes a good ripple effect. So,
Exactly. I agree.
no, that's good. I like the way you put the chase though. Like,
Yeah.
just because you can. That's good.
Mhm.
I hope
That was
somebody.
good.
That was good. But my last question before we call it one is, for any man younger than you, older than you, at your age, at the same point in life you are, what piece of advice would you give them to help them, or at least open up their mind, change their perspective in any way?
Mm.
It could be anything.
And just change their perspective, just like towards themselves.
Anything. Yourselves, like anything that you would give somebody. And it could be multiple things, one thing.
I would say, take your time, be composed, and trust in God. Those three things. I think what we need to get back to as men is be confident. The men in my family, and especially like my papa was a Rolling Stone. Like back in the 70s, he'd wear the flashy suits, all that. But coming from a family that is very colorful, very expressive like that, that's something that I'll never lose, is that confidence. And I feel like men, no matter if you're younger, and I'm 28 by the way, if you're younger than me, older than me, be confident in who you are as a man. That way you can step into this world and be that man. Be that man that maybe you needed to be 10 years ago. Well, guess what? You're him now. What are you going to do with that? And then on top of that, at that end of the day, look to see what you've done. Be proud of what you've done. And like Kobe said, job's not done. Now look towards the next 10 years. You all, that's what I think is so beautiful with this gift of life, and that we need to start to appreciate that we have opportunities every day. It's called the breath of life. Use that opportunity to make change. And you don't have to be a creative, y'all. Like, you don't got to paint. You don't got to draw. If you like going to the gym, then be the best you there. If you like eating, then cook the best meals. Even if you like watching your shows, watch them. Be at your own pace, but be content and be 100% you. That's what I would definitely say.
That's good.
That was good. And I'm thankful for this conversation.
Same.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah.
We thank you. If you have been tuning in this long, like, share, subscribe. We do this every 2 weeks. We post these up on Friday at 8 a.m. just so that you have something to listen to on your way to work, throughout the weekend, whatever you do for your, for your energy and everything. So again, we love you. We hope that you have a blessed week. Take care.
Take care, everyone.